Hi there, welcome. My name is David Mensfeld. I'm the principal here at Sacred Heart Catholic School in Rockwood. Really excited about the 2021-2022 school year. I'm going to give you a virtual tour of the school, as well as kind of highlight some of the changes for this year. So returning students, things are going to look a little bit different. So while we're out front here, there's two areas I want to show you. Since we're continuing to not allow visitors inside the school, except for those who are helping with different programs or with any type of literacy or numeracy intervention like board people, etc. The drop-off and pickup point for our main office is right here. So if you want to join me, if you go up to the second window here, this is our main office. So all you'd have to do is knock on the window, and hopefully there's...
Hi everybody, welcome back. Can't wait to see you next week.
So that's Mrs. Newton, our secretary. So a lot of things get passed through this window. So if you ever need, again, pickup or drop off of any type of like lunch, or kids forget certain things or whatever, this is the window to go to. And while we're still here at the front of the school, this is going to be a big change. So last year our primary drop-off was at the back of the school on this side. That no longer can happen since we are working on this daycare facility. So I'll have Joel, and shout out to Joel Jansen for doing this video. This fencing will all be removed by day one of school. So the JK-SK area is still going to be accessible for pickup and drop off, and there will be spots available for pickup and drop off. But this area is only for JK and SK students who are in Mrs. Bohennick's class and Mrs. Lawrence's class. So JK, SK students are going to be dropped off in this area. There will be parking spots. The JK-SK gate will still be open, and that is basically where parents are going to drop off and then go about leaving the school the same way, straight into the school, back to school, and straight out of the school through the main driveway. So now we're going to just stop the video for a second and move to the other side of the school. So we're now at this side of the school where we had our traditional grade 4 to 8 drop-off. This is going to be a drop-off point for, of course, our buses. So there are going to be two loops created. The bigger loop around will be for our buses. The second loop will be for students from SK. So these are students in Mrs. Sampson's class, all the way up to grade 4. So Mrs. Sampson's class, all the way up to grade 4, are going to be dropped off along here and enter the side of the building. So if you just follow me here, you're going to enter through this gate, and they're going to access the yard through this gate. Parents are not to use the larger loop, which is just for busing. So there will be a second loop created for parents to safely drive around and exit the property. And hopefully we can have all of our grades SK to grade 3 dropped off on this side of the parking lot, and we'll have all of our grade 4s dropped off on the other side of the loop. So I will be out there day 1 in the morning directing people. We will have staff to assist, but this is kind of like an orientation. So if you want to follow me to the back of the school. So we've just gone through the gate. Now we're going to begin with students in grade 3. So we've covered the JK-SKs. We've covered the SKs and Mrs. Sampson. You're going to come through this gate. But this area is where the grade 3s are going to go upon arrival. So whether they're dropped off by the bus, or they're dropped off by their parents, or friends or family, the 2 grade 3 classes this year will be in a portable, and upon arrival, this area. And of course, all this area will be done by day 1 next Tuesday. just in the transition points today. Grade 3s in the morning. Okay, so now we're at the back of the school. Hopefully you can hear me better because we're checking the sound quality once we get this up and running. But at the back of the school here is where we're going to have our SKs with Mrs. Sampson, and all of our students assemble to enter the school. And students who were here last year will remember their dots painted on the pavement. The dots are going to come back again. So upon arrival, students are going to come into the property and we're going to line up on dots associated with their teacher. And day one, don't worry, the teachers will be out here with class lists. I'll be available, staff will be available to direct. But this is more to give everyone a sense as to how we're going to do things operationally. We're still not going to have parents access the yard. And the reason for that is we have, first of all, limited access points in terms of safely distancing. But this is a big shift from last year. So last year, we had primary students coming from that end of the school. This year, all of our primary students are going to be entering that portable side that we went through. So be assured there'll be lots of supervision out here. That first day we're going to make sure that we have people with lists so that everyone will know where they're going, and teachers will go through the routine once the students are safe in the class. We'll be going outside and we'll be designated spots for students to line up daily in the morning, and of course during after recesses and at the end of the day. Now, we're just going to pan out to the main part of the yard, the back field, and this is going to be very important because this area is going to be where our students, grades 5 to 8, we are hoping will get dropped off every morning. So students from grades 5 to 8 in the morning, so we'll take a little break and we'll head out. Okay, so we're now in the subdivision behind the backyard of the school. And as you can see, we're at the corner of Bonner and Taylor Avenue. And if you take a look, this is where we're hoping to have our grade 5s to our grade 8s dropped off each morning. And that will eliminate all the congestion in our parking lot. And our students are old enough, even if you were to drop off at the park, for some of our older students, grade 8s for example, maybe some of the grade 7s, there are side streets. The construction is almost completed out here in the community, so we're hoping to do a drop-off point here, and to begin for sure, Mr. Mansfeld will be supervising, yours truly will be supervising the students as they come onto the school property. So if you follow me with the camera rolling, the students would get dropped off and they would be walking through. So the sidewalk is all done, of course. Last year this was all done. And this bobcat will be out of the way, so there won't be an obstacle. But the students will walk through here, and we have replaced much of the fencing so that hopefully there are things that won't get caught on jackets or backpacks, etc. So our entrance point for grades 5 to grade 8 will be through here. And as you can see, it's a pretty wide path. Students shouldn't have any trouble getting in and getting out, with some distancing, of course. And again, the construction is supposed to be finished by mid-December. So we are definitely looking at hopefully a nicer route to access the school once the daycare facility is done. And once we see exactly what the finished product looks like, then we'll have a better understanding of what we have to do for pickup and drop off. And again, this is temporary. We're gonna try this. We're gonna see if it works. We just have to get the kids here safely and in a way where we don't create a lot of traffic and a lot of unsafe situations in the parking lot. And there is some good news. And so Mr. Jensen, if you want to just cut this off for a second. Okay, so the big news is the Gaga Ball pit is still here. Well, that's not really new news. It is news though, and we will be able to safely play Gaga Ball. We're excited about that. But behind me, you can see the daycare center is being built, and you can see a hill, and you can see a fence. And what I'm really excited to share out to the community is that inside of this hill we will be we'll have arbor stones brought in. So we're actually going to have an outdoor classroom built into the hill at this part of the school. So students can of course use it during recess as a sitting area. There's going to be some trees planted, so it's going to provide some shade. But it's a great opportunity for kids to extend their learning from inside to outside. But unfortunately, we're not going to be able to access that until all construction is finished. So we're probably not going to look at utilizing that until mid-December, and of course weather permitting, etc. But we're really excited about that possibility for learning and have students having a spot just to maybe read or do some drawing or whatever during recesses. So that's the big news, and that'll be a big change for the next school year. Okay, so now it's time to enter the school. So we're going to do a full tour of the downstairs and a full tour of the upstairs. So come on in.
Don't forget your mask, Mr. Mansfeld.
That's right. So as per our communications, masks are mandatory, JK to grade 8, except for those students who require exemptions. So I'm going to get my mask on, and hopefully you can still hear me. Nose is covered, down to the chin. Let's go. So Mr. Jansen is following me, and I'll hold the door for him. So you saw Mrs. Newton through the window. This is our main office area, and we're going to get to the main foyer. And so basically, we're first going to do our JK, SK, and then we'll make our way through. We'll take a look at the gym, and we'll take a look at our SK to grade 1 classes. So follow me as we go through. This hallway will primarily be used by our students in JKSK to access the gym or to access the library when needed. But also this is an area where many of our students from upstairs safely get to the schoolyard so that we have some distancing going on with our classrooms upstairs. And as we go through our 2 classrooms, so the first classroom here is Mrs. Lawrence's JKSK class, and Mrs. Dexter is her teaching partner. So we take a look at our classroom. Again, our classrooms are not all set up. Teachers were only able to come into their rooms today, which is Monday. You'll be watching this video probably on Tuesday, so yesterday. So in terms of the classroom setup, these are not final setups of classrooms, but this gives you an idea of what the room looks like. And so, of course, their own private bathrooms, 2 bathrooms, fully equipped bathrooms. We have our coat hook and cubby area. And then we have their exit point onto the yard. And if Mr. Jansen holds the door, so we don't get locked out, these temporary fences will be taken down, and this gate will be open day 1 for students to be dropped off and picked up. Again, Mrs. Lawrence's students and Mrs. Bohennick's students be dropped off and picked up right here at this gate, and this will all be parking for JKSK. And this is the JKSK yard. And toys and stuff are put out, but we'll be getting those organized and out for the kids to use. So we'll just pop into the next JKSK class. And here we go. One of the benefits of being in a new school are all of the classes are very uniform. So the 2 JKSK classes are basically mirrors of each other, just on opposite sides, right? So the entrance point, instead of being on the right-hand side of the other class, is on the left-hand side of this class. Same equipped washrooms, same exit and enter point, same coat hook and cubby area. So as I said, it's just a mirror of the other classroom. And again, we're still in the process of our setup. So let us proceed to the primary classes, or sorry, our grade 1 classes. For those new to the school community, and as an update, our school has grown substantially. We are at about 279 students. Last year, I believe, because of the students who opted online, which we had about 30, we only started out with 209 students in September of last year. So it's a huge jump for sure, which is good news because now we have additional teachers. So as we make our way through the hallway, this is a staff workroom. We have our staff room. We have our servery. Our servery is used for Pancake Tuesday. Many of the returning families have actually helped us out in there over the years. And so this is our gymnasium. And I will just quickly turn on the lights. So this is our gymnasium. We have 2 storage rooms of equipment. All students in grades 1 to 3 will have a gym, I believe, every single day. And then, but they only get half a gym space, and they get a little bit less time than our other students who will have gym 4 days a week, but for a longer period of time. So the minutes add up or equal, but it best utilizes the gym so the gym never sits empty during the day. There's plenty of time for all classes to access the gym, even though, again, we have additional classes this year. So Mr. Jensen, if you follow along. And again, a special shout out to Mr. Jensen coming in on his day off to help assist. Very kind of you, sir. We have our special ed resource room right here. Mrs. Stafford, are you here?
Right here.
We're just doing some filming.
Oh.
So that's Mrs. Stafford.
Hi.
She's our special education resource teacher. Again, if you have any questions around any type of special programming, she is definitely the person to ask for. So as we continue, we are going to see our classes SK and our 2 grade 1s. So this will be Mrs. Sampson's SK class. And again, we're just setting it up. Teachers were able to start getting stuff in today, as I mentioned earlier. So this will be set up and ready for learning, but we're just transitioning from Mrs. Chilton leaving the class and of course moving Mrs. Sampson and her materials in. So we will continue. So these are the washrooms that will be used for SK students and grade 1 students. So this washroom is used, as you can see. We still have occupancy signs of 2 students at a time, and teachers have their sign-out procedures to make sure that we don't have too many students out at once. And when students, where there are more than 2, you might see some students waiting in the hallway to use the washroom. And so we continue. And if you kind of look out, I was standing in front of those doors earlier explaining where all the dots were and where students line up. So our grade 1s for sure will be coming in through that doorway. So if you come on in, this will be Mrs. Roman's grade 1 class. So again, as I mentioned before, all of our classrooms are uniform. They were all built at the same time under new construction. So Mrs. Broman's class and Mrs. Dufour's class are going to look very much the same, but we will go into Mrs. Dufour's class as well. So, this is Mrs. Dufour's class. Oh, and Mrs. Dufour is here working. So again, she's only been able to access her classroom as of this morning, but things are already coming along pretty good. So Mrs. Dufour is our other grade 1 teacher, and her and Mrs. Broman, I know, are very excited to work as a team this year. So good work, Mrs. Dufour. Sorry for interrupting you, but we're just doing a video tour of the school. So, Mr. Jensen, it doesn't want for us to be huffing and puffing going up the staircase. So we're going to start at the bottom of the stairs, and then we're going to head out and be at the top. Okay, so we're now on the second floor of the school. So you can see those are the doors we just came through. And we are now going to go over each of the classrooms that are upstairs, which will begin with grade 2s. So the grade 1s are just below us, the grade 3s are in the portables, and our grade 2s are here. So we'll begin. This is Mrs. Mary's classroom. Will look very similar to what's downstairs. So this is Mrs. Mary's room. And the next classroom over is Mrs. Berardini's room. And this is our other grade 2 classroom. So side by side, hopefully, and cohorts this year. This will give me an opportunity to speak to you about cohorts. Our primary students will be cohorted together. So all the grade 1s are going to play in the same area of the playground at recesses. All of our grade 2s will be in the same area, and then all of our grade 3s will be in the same area. So each class or each grade will have their own area of the yard for each of the nutrition breaks, and will be allowed to play with each other. So even if they're maybe in a class where they, one of their friends or whatever are in the other class, they'll definitely have time at recesses to play, to socialize, and to catch up. So as we go through, I know upstairs teachers use magnets for students to track how many students are in the washroom. That probably will still be the case for our grade 4s and up, but our primary may do something a little bit unique or different. But again, the washrooms up here basically mirror what is downstairs, except for higher sinks, a little bit higher sinks, a little bit higher toilets. This classroom here will be Mr. Dickert's class, and this will be a grade 5-6 class. So this was called our makerspace room. And then last year we had a virtual teacher teaching here. So this will be Mr. Dickert's grade 5-6 class. And as we move along, we are going to go into our grade 4 class. And Mrs. Hutchinson is here.
Hi, Mr. Mansfeld.
Hello, Mrs. Hutchinson. We're just doing a video tour of the school because we have so many new families.
Amazing. Welcome to Sacred Heart.
It's going to be great. So this is grade 4. And again, as we move through, you can kind of get a sense. Just below us would be the special education resource room where we met Mrs. Stafford. So just to give yourself a little bit of orientation around the actual physical structure of how the classes or where the classes are. So if we step out and we look down this hallway, there's a few things to see. First is our Faith Center, the Bishop Ustricki Center. And we'll have classes come in here for meditation. We'll have classes come here for any type of special liturgies. So I know Father, as he works with the grade 2s, might access this classroom because this year all the 2s can be together. So we're very blessed, of course, to have a space like this. And it does get definitely utilized throughout the year. Then as we continue, we are going, we have Mrs. McClinton counting and moving tables and desks. So we're very thankful and blessed to have her. The school looks amazingly clean and awesome. And she's just finding out about class placements and new teachers and new classes. And so she's been working very, very hard, making sure we'll be ready for day 1. So as we come into this class, this is Mrs. Scowron's classroom. So it's a hyphenated name, Marks Scowron. And we'll ask her what her preference is, if she wants to go with Marks or Scowron or Marks Scowron. But this is her room. And again, we are still in the process of teachers moving from their old sites or old schools, previous schools, and coming here. What you will notice are these bags of cushions, and students will remember these, but we have one of these for all of our students. So if we are really promoting use of these outside for outside learning experiences. So students take their cushion, have a comfortable spot to sit outside to do some learning during the day. As well, with the start of COVID, carpets were taken out of classrooms. So any type of primary, or even the older kids wanting to do some sitting down in the classroom on the floor, instead of being on the hard floor, they would have a cushion to use, which has worked out very well last year, and we purchased more, so all of our students this year have them. And not lastly, I guess, but our last classroom, we have Mr. Linz's room, and Mr. Linz is in as well. So this is Mr. Linz, everyone.
Hello.
So Mr. Linz is our grade 7-8 teacher, and this is our grade 7-8 classroom. As a previous communication indicated, Mrs. Green has took a physical education job in one of our high schools. So we now are very excited that Mr. Linz has joined us, and this will be our grade 7-8 classroom. So if we go back into the hallway, a very important office we're going to pass here on the left-hand side. This is Mr. Jansen's office, the gentleman who is filming. And he usually has a riddle of the day, which he looks up on the internet because he's not that clever to come up with them on his own. But the students are very excited to read the riddle and to try to solve the riddle. If you look in this hallway, we have lockers. And we are going to start with the thought that all of our students in grades 6, 7, and 7, 8 will start with lockers. And if we're able to, depending upon distancing and rules, because we haven't really heard about the sharing of lockers and those possibilities, that could get extended to grade 5, 6, but there's no guarantees with that. So we're definitely starting grade 6, 7, and 7, 8 with lockers, and then we'll go from there. And we are going to just move really quickly to the library. And it was very exciting news from the Board of Public Health that we could use our library space again. So classes will be able to come in and do some work in the library. In the past, we've definitely seen some work with robotics happening here. We've had we've used this as a computer hub where laptops are brought in so students could do some group research in a more open space. And of course, the borrowing of books, right? The lending and returning of library books. And Mrs. Winkler is our librarian, and she does a fabulous job. And she's back on board for next year, and we're very excited to have her. So that will bring us to the end of the hall. And it'll bring us almost to the end of our tour. Maybe Mr. Jansen can show kind of the view of things going on right now, as we have many construction drop-off vehicles, trailers, as well as people involved in work, trying to get everything ready. And we have our entranceway, our entrance hallway. So we showed the downstairs staircase. So we came up from the grade 1 hallway downstairs, up into the grade 2 hallway upstairs. And now as we leave kind of the junior intermediate area, we're now right below us would be the hallway that leads us to the main office, or the JK side of the school. So that concludes the tour. I'm hoping that we'll do something special in terms of a virtual open house for families. So we can showcase, again, parts of the school, what the actual finished product of the classroom setup looks like, and the teachers would have an opportunity to maybe share out some of their goals, some of their communication methods, etc. So thank you for taking the time to watch the video. I'm very excited about getting back to in-person learning next year. It's going to be a wonderful year in terms of meeting new students, coming together and really continuing the momentum of good work we've done together over the last 5+ years here at Sacred Heart. So God bless and enjoy the rest of your summer holidays, and see you next week.